have to make the final decision 1 second before it's due. Because things change. I mean, especially with war. Things change with war. It can go from one extreme to the other. War was very bad. There was no reason for this to be a war.
Yes, President Trump, not a warmonger, not a friend of the military-industrial complex like Joe Biden. Can you believe that a year ago today, not only was Joe Biden president, but it looked like he was running for president again, and the Democrats are like, oh, yeah, he's great. He should be president for another 4 years. A year ago today. It's only been 1 week since bombs started dropping on Iran. That seems like a month already. And this is fun. It turns out that it is June 20th. You know what that means? 5 months since Inauguration Day. 5 months into President Trump's second term as President of the United States. Democrat Party still in the midst of a meltdown, a mental meltdown, and a gender meltdown. They've got a lot of very serious issues. They do. But welcome back once again as we are on the glide slope to a great American weekend. And here's my pet. I don't think that anybody's got to wear. I told you yesterday or day before yesterday, all the news media in Washington had told their reporters to go into work to their beats, to the White House, to the Pentagon, to the State Department, and stand by for President Trump to start bombing Iran, bomb Iran. Everybody stand by. All the reporters were called in. A little overtime. They don't usually get paid overtime, really. But they work overtime, but they don't get paid overtime. And their job to go in and stand by and wait for the bombs to start falling. And I've got to say, I told anybody that would listen at work and beyond, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see bombs dropping tonight. That's not. And now President Trump is talking about a two-week timetable, while the Europeans have all flocked to Geneva, Switzerland, where they are meeting with the Iranian leadership about Iran denuclearizing. They're talking about Iran denuclearizing. And that is not denuclearizing, as so many Democrats like to say. It's not nuclear, is it, Michael? It's nuclear. And it's an important word. It should be pronounced properly. I've been pronouncing the word nuclear properly since I was probably 5 or 6 years old. 5. I'm guessing 5. I had nuclear down by that time. I think my mother probably, when I was a small child, said, honey, it's not nuclear. It's nuclear. And I said, yes, mother, nuclear. And I've had it just right since then. But in any case, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met Thursday with his United Kingdom counterpart, the Wall Street Journal is reporting, to discuss the conflict between Israel and Iran, agreeing that Iran can never develop or acquire nuclear weapons. The British Foreign Minister and the United States Secretary of State. Meanwhile, as the conflict enters its second week, Israel and Iran are continuing to exchange fire, as you might expect, what with the war and everything. Israel said that it hit missile manufacturing sites, multiple, in Iran overnight. That's last night. Because, you want them firing missiles at you. That's part of the thing there. So the United States has been beefing up its forces in the region. Always beefing up. Why beefing up? I'm not sure I understand beefing up. A third U.S. Navy destroyer entered the eastern Mediterranean Sea, and a second U.S. aircraft carrier strike group is headed toward the Arabian Sea. The Arabian Sea. The Pentagon said the moves are defensive. They're always defensive until they become offensive. And then Iran's foreign minister said that his country, that would be Iran, won't meet with the U.S. for nuclear talks until the Israeli strikes end. All right, well, if you want to wait for Israel to be finished, we can probably do that too. Oh, you want to wait for Israel to be done with everything they're doing? Okay, we'll wait. At the Kremlin in Moscow, Russia, spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Russia would react very negatively if Israel were to assassinate Iran's supreme leader with U.S. assistance, Russia would respond very negatively indeed. They might invade Ukraine or something. Speaking in an interview with the British broadcaster Sky News, Dmitry Peskov said regime change in Iran was unimaginable. I don't think he knows what that word means. And that's honestly, it's like Princess Bride. You keep using that word, unimaginable. I don't think you know what that word means. Pretty amazing stuff. So the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called a hospital strike by Iran inside of Israel the work of terrorist tyrants. Well, sure, that's who they are. That's what you should expect from them, the behavior of terrorist tyrants. And the regime change thing, this is there's another discussion that has emerged really just in the last 12 hours, not even 24 hours, in the last 12 hours. What does regime change look like? Would you have to actually knock off the Ayatollah Khamenei for regime change to be effected? And I believe the answer is no. You don't necessarily have to. If you're looking, and then interesting, I had a fun conversation on the subject with James Rosen yesterday at Newsmax TV. James Rosen, now of Newsmax TV, my colleague there. And I gave him a ride home from work yesterday, and we talked about the world, news, and whether the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, whether they might be a more reasonable negotiating partner than the Council of Mullahs and the Ayatollah, because they have military sensibilities rather than religious fanaticism as their underpinning. That the IRGC, terrorists that they are, responsible for murdering Americans in large numbers in the past. But might the IRGC be a better negotiating partner with the United States and Western powers when it comes to nuclear weapons in the hands of the Iranian leadership? And an interesting discussion whether regime change necessarily involves taking out, what we should say, 86ing, as James Comey would say, 86ing the Ayatollah. But James Comey doesn't know what that means. He's easily confused. He doesn't know. He just finds seashells by the seashore. And just amazing stuff. Now, the Ayatollah, how old is the Ayatollah? 87, 88? He's not a young man, but he might not be long for this world. And whether you drop a bomb on him or not, he's the supreme leader. At Newsmax, my title is now Supreme Leader also. I think Larry O'Connor gave me that title, Supreme Leader. I'm the Supreme Leader at Newsmax TV. But Ruhollah Khomeini, Ruhollah, he's the old Ayatollah of rock and roll. But the new Ayatollah, Ali Khamenei, he's the current Supreme Leader, even though I am the Supreme Leader at Newsmax. But that's different than being the Supreme Leader in Tehran. He is 86 years old, born in 1939. So not a young man. You can tell by the long gray beard. That's one of the clues. Remarkable stuff. The Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And he helps you to clear your throat, which is good too. So we've got that, and the Wall Street Journal, a good strong piece on everything that's gone there. Trump hints he'll hold off on Iran strike to give diplomacy time. 1 hour ago from the Bloomberg News people, and the Europeans now in Geneva, Switzerland, meeting with Iranian leaders about denuclearization. This is a first for the Europeans, and keeping in mind that we played some ridiculous audio of Barack Hussein Obama yesterday, babbling incoherently, and they just adore him. They just swoon. I mean, he could read the back of a pasta box, and Democrats would swoon because they're demented, and they're a cult, a bizarro cult. Not happy people. Oh, yeah, we have the not happy, an update on Democrats not being happy, too. They're the unhappy people. Conservatives are the happy people. Democrats and liberals, the unhappy people. We did this story on my Newsmax program last night as well, and I got to say there's some pretty funny stuff in this. It's the old Democrat pollster Nate Silver, who they now hold in contempt because they turn on everybody eventually. They're the left. How do you think they filled those mass graves? But a fun story we did last night, speaking of liberals versus conservatives on the happy scale, and wonderful piece we did last night. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, you're a conservative, according to Nate Silver and his polling numbers. And if you're miserable and down in the dumps all the time, you are statistically most likely a liberal. The political analyst, longtime Democrat guy, numbers guy, Nate Silver, they used to love him until they didn't love him anymore. New poll, and the initial elements of the poll came out a while back, but now he's got updates. 51% of conservatives say that our mental health is excellent, 51%. Another 39% say our mental health is very good. So what is that now? That's 80%. That's 90%. That's 90%. Republicans say our mental health is either excellent or very good. Liberals, on the other hand, describe their mental health not so much as excellent. 45% of liberals say their mental health is poor, not good, compared to just 19% of conservatives who say their mental health is poor. Nate Silver took to his Substack to talk about the happiness gap. And listen to this. Conservative women report considerably higher happiness than liberal men. It's kind of fascinating because the, liberal, you're man, more likely to be happy. Lady, less likely to be happy. But conservative women are much more happy even than liberal men because they're all miserable. And you know why? It's because they're not happy unless they're not happy. Race is not really a big factor, but listen to this. Black liberal voters describe higher mental health than white liberals. But the liberals say, oh, but how can you be happy in it like Whoopi Goldberg? It's being black in America is worse than being tortured to death in Iran because America is so terrible. But it turns out black liberals report better mental health and being happier than white liberals because they're not happy unless they're not happy. Big mental health problems. Amazing stuff. And amazingly, also, there's an age gap. Gen Z, much younger voters. Liberals, much less happy. Gen Z, much less happy because that's just who they are. Aren't they amazing? And this might be my favorite part. Gay men and lesbian women report somewhat lower happiness than heterosexuals overall. But hang on, conservative gays and lesbians report higher happiness levels than liberal heterosexuals. That's right, gay conservatives are happier than straight liberals. And that's another oppressed group that are supposed to be unhappy because America is such terrible. So it puts the lie to everything. Whoopi Goldberg and race and gender and gender and gender and gender. Amazing. So conservatives, gay and lesbian conservatives are happier than straight Democrats because they just can't help but be unhappy. Isn't that amazing? Liberals who describe themselves as bisexual, which I think is almost all of them, or having some other sexual orientation, how many are there, are the least happy demographic. I'm sorry, what? When is that? If they're bisexual, but then you've got everything you want. Isn't that amazing? Democrats, they just, again, they're not happy unless they're not happy. They must be miserable because they are the left. You know that a recent bombshell report revealed that the abortion pill is literally 10 times more dangerous to women than the FDA has said over time. The FDA, they're telling us fake numbers. 11% of women taking the abortion pill have experienced serious adverse effects. And horrifyingly, it's also reported that abortion pill accounts for more than 60% of abortions in the United States, with an average of more than 1 million babies snuffed out every year in the U.S. That would be 66,000 American women who could be harmed by the abortion pill this year alone with serious adverse conditions. This is what the Democrats call health care, of course. Well, let me tell you what real health care looks like. Preborn, the preborn network of clinics across the country, helped to save more than 67,000 unborn babies last year. Once a woman sees her baby inside of her, sees the heartbeat, hears and feels the heartbeat because of an ultrasound, the baby's chance of living a long and happy life could double. One ultrasound costs only $28, and with $140, you can help rescue 5 unborn babies in the United States. Any gift will help, and all your gifts are tax deductible, of course. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby when they ask you for a keyword, That's dial pound 250, the keyword is baby, or go to Al Gore's amazing internet to preborn.com/plant. That's me, preborn.com/plant. Yes, sir. All right, so many wild stories to get to. I want to get to the Republican congressman that was chased down by a road rage psycho with his Palestinian flag, threatening the Jewish congressman. That's coming up. And more Democrat hijinks.
I ain't got no hope. I'm miserable. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I'm mad at everybody.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. All right, Michael, let's take a telephone call. Talk to the great American people. Let's go to Bob, calling from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Oh, Bob, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Chris, thank you for taking my call. You hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I do.
Excellent. Yeah, sorry, I'm in a busy place. So the reason I was calling is because I wondered if we should do what Thomas Massey said and put this to a vote. It used to be, I remember the good old days when Congress would vote whether or not we're going to war. And I'm wondering if we did such a thing, do you think Congress would vote for it? I know we got a lot of congressmen, especially Republicans, controlled by Israel, probably a lot of Democrats also. But do you think the American people want to go to war with Iran?
Right. I'm listening to you very attentively, and I'm nodding. As true, Congressman Thomas Massey saying, hey, if we're going to start bombing Iran, maybe we should invoke the War Powers Act. War Powers Resolution of 1973, which requires that if the U.S. military is going to be used to go to war on the order of the president, that the Congress has to approve it. I don't think the Congress would approve it. And maybe Trump will bring it to Congress for that very reason. We were talking at Newsmax a couple of days ago about singing and whether you sing a lot in your day. And I probably start singing 20 times a day. Usually my best girl makes me stop real quick because she cares. But and I try not to sing too much on the radio because it might not be the best thing for anything that we're trying to get done here. But we don't do drag shows like Democrats across the country. Just amazing. And funny moment on Capitol Hill yesterday when Democrats were asking our Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth about shooting American citizens in the leg, or the legs, plural. And I want to share that with you because these people, you remember Joe Biden, who was all about shooting Americans in the legs. These people, can I just say, these people. I got a little Chunk. Little Chunk is back in the new Chunk Todd, His mother always called him Chunk. Why, Mommy, do you call me Chunk? All right, let's go because the Democrats are a violent criminal operation. Everybody knows that. And honestly, I've got to say, the media, God, they're awful. They just couldn't be more terrible if it were their goal to be more terrible. Well, let me go. Where you want to go to number 13? Is that right? Let's go to this. Here is the U.S. attorney under President Trump to the Northern District of New York. His name is John Sarcone. John Sarcone is the chief law enforcement officer, federal, right? Federal law enforcement officer, the chief lawyer, prosecutor in charge, and the upper part of the state of New York. And he was minding his own business. He was in Albany, New York, and he noticed a crazy person leering at him. And I don't know if you've heard about this story, but it's just another Democrat Party, what they're doing to America story, because they're not on our side. Boy, they're not on our side. Now, I don't want to give away the whole story, but knife-wielding man chases U.S. attorney in downtown Albany. That's the state capital of New York, where the governor is and all that, and she's on the side of the criminals. Man accused of attempted murder against U.S. Attorney John Sarcone. Isn't that just perfectly normal in today's America, thanks to the Democrat Party? Now, the New York Post has this story. U.S. Attorney for New York John Sarcone claims knife-wielding illegal migrant, there it is, who threatened him was going to kill somebody. Well, sure, he was going to kill you. U.S. Attorney for New York John Sarcone said on Friday that a knife-wielding illegal alien from El Salvador, who was charged with threatening to slit his throat, was going to kill somebody if he didn't step up to help get him off the streets. Sarcone, a President Trump-appointed U.S. attorney for the Northern District of New York, allegedly encountered a crazy Saul Morales Garcia, a previously deported illegal migrant from El Salvador, outside the Hilton Hotel in Albany, New York, on Tuesday night. Detailing his encounter, Sarcone said that Morales Garcia, 40-year-old illegal alien, aggressively lunged at him multiple times on the street while screaming in a foreign language. Well, naturally, of course, what do you expect him to speak English? Before he gestured that he would slice his throat. Now, John Sarcone, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of New York, was on the Fox News channel this morning, and he described his experience on the sidewalks of New York, which that's a border state, isn't it? That's a border state? Yeah, they border Canada. Here is the U.S. Attorney in New York.
I'm walking, minding my own business. I was going to go up to the state capitol, which is a couple blocks away from my office, federal courthouse. Mm-hmm. And I noticed this guy who looked crazy. Was near the Hilton Hotel entrance. I could have easily just kept walking, but I sensed that there was danger here, and I have an obligation. I'm the chief law enforcement officer for the federal government in the area.
You bet you are. And he's not packing heat in all probability. He might have a badge. He's got a badge. I think he's got a badge. But he's minding his own business. It's Albany, New York. It's the state capital of New York. It's run by Democrats. It's a sanctuary state because they want more crime and more murder. John Sarcone.
And I kept my eye on him, and he definitely appeared to be up to something crazy. Instead of keep going, I went across the street and I stood in front of the Hilton, and I kept my eye on him. Didn't look at him directly. Next thing you know, he starts screaming at me in a language I didn't understand. I didn't acknowledge him. I kept looking straight ahead. Then he starts coming towards me. I turn, I look at him. I still don't say anything. And then he pulls a knife out. He goes like this.
Like this?
He's screaming at me.
Lunging.
And then he charges at me.
And he charges at you, and he's got a knife, and he's lunging, extending his arm with the knife clutched in his hand, and like he's stabbing, right? And here's the chief law enforcement officer, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of New York, John Sarcone.
So I ran towards the lobby, never took my eye off him, and before I got to the lobby, he stopped. He was about 10 feet away from me with the with the knife and still screaming in a language I did not understand. He turned around and he started walking away. I called the sheriff of Albany County, who I had a personal phone number for, and I said, Craig, you got to get over here. I was just attacked by a maniac with a knife speaking in a foreign language. He said, where? I said, the Hilton. He said, we'll be right there. Now, this guy's walking away. I knew that if he got away, he was going to kill somebody.
I knew if he got away, he was going to kill somebody because, he's looking at the guy and looking at his behavior, and his behavior is not so good because, bad guy, John Sarcone.
The sheriff said, we can only charge him with menacing and having a weapon. I said, Sheriff, send your deputies back to the Hilton and get the video. He threatened my life because after he walked away, I went to the sidewalk to try to keep him in the area, and I yelled out, and he turned around, he yelled back, and then he came back at me, and he goes like this with the knife.
Slash your throat.
And he's going to slit my throat, and then he charged at me again, second time.
So he's doing the old, he's got the knife and he's doing the slash your throat gesture, like that, curtains, like that. He's talking to my friend Griff Jenkins, and Griff Jenkins is there with the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of New York.
Have you talked to Governor Hochul?
Actually, she called me 8:45 p.m. last night. She was very sympathetic and concerned, and I said to her, I said, look, the sanctuary cities aren't working.
Is she going to do anything about it?
I hope she does.
I hope she does. Well, the Democrats are there on the side of the guy with the knife threatening to slash the throat of the U.S. Attorney of the Northern District of New York, because this is the new America that the Democrat Party has created. It's the fundamental transformation of America. Our Democrat Party, they are not on our side. They don't run a good country. They don't run a good state. They don't run a good city. They are, what's the term? Oh, the bad guys. They are the bad guys. They're not the good guys. Now, we've got another incident to talk about as well, because a Republican member of Congress, a Republican member of the House of Representatives, the United States House of Representatives, he was driving in his automobile, just driving along, sweet as you please. Max Miller is his name. Max Miller. And the Democrats, they're trying to undermine Congressman Max Miller. He is describing an incident that he experienced while driving in his automobile. And a Democrat lunatic, now the congressman is from Ohio, and he's driving in his car like a normal person. And a Democrat came rushing up on him in another car, saying, hey, there's that Jewish congressman from here in Ohio. He's the Jew. And the Democrat, he started terrorizing the congressman, Max Miller, driving in his automobile. Republican Congressman Max Miller says, the media wants to disbelieve him, that he was run off the road by a man waving a Palestinian flag in Ohio, an incident that comes amid a heightened environment of political violence. Now the Democrats represent political violence because a couple of Democrats, a terrible incident in Minnesota, a couple of Democrats were shot. Now there's an environment of political violence. When Trump was shot and Steve Scalise was shot in the violence and the firebombing of the Jewish governor in Pennsylvania and firebombing of Jews marching for Israel in Boulder, Colorado, an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor set on fire by an Egyptian illegal alien that the Democrats invited into the country. He's got 5 kids and a wife here in the United States, and the Democrats applaud that. Oh, we're so open-minded. Our brain fell out. But here is Congressman Max Miller describing his experience driving his car.
This morning, as I was driving to work, some unhinged, deranged man decided to lay on his horn and run me off the road when he couldn't get my attention to show me a Palestinian flag. Not to mention death to Israel, death to me, that he wanted to kill me and my family. Thank God my daughter was not in my vehicle or anybody else at the time. We know exactly who you are. I have gone about my day. I have carried on my meetings, and we will not hide.
Max Leonard Miller, Republican congressman from Ohio's 7th Congressional District since 2023. And he's a Republican, and he's Jewish, and he's describing driving when a Democrat with a Palestinian flag terrorizing him. And, death to Israel. This is the Democrat Party, from the river to the sea.
I will continue to fight against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all other forms of hate. You have an issue? Take it to our office. You want to run me off the road? That's a different story. We know who you are, young man, and the police are going to be paying you a visit.
Now, the news media, they were all over this. Oh, Miller says he was, quote, run off the road, end quote. CBS News headline. Headline after headline, ABC News, same thing, quote, run off the road, end quote. Fox News, quote, run off the road, end quote. And now we've got the I-Team, Fox 8. Westlake man charged with threatening U.S. Representative Max Miller and his family in Rocky River. Isn't that fascinating? Fox 8 in Cleveland, Ohio. And authorities have charged a man with threatening to kill Ohio's U.S. Representative Max Miller and his family on Thursday, June 19th. That is yesterday. Criminal complaint filed that day in Rocky River Municipal Court, obtained by the Fox 8 I-Team. Charges, hang on now, Feras S. Hamdan. Feras S. Hamdan, 36 years old, of Westlake, with a misdemeanor count of aggravated menacing. It's a misdemeanor. Democrats say that a misdemeanor is not illegal. That's not. Come on. It's not even a. I know I've had liberals do this with me, even on television. Miller, the Republican from Rocky River, in a social media post on Thursday that I just played for you, claimed he was run off the road by an unhinged, deranged man in another vehicle. The Jewish-American lawmaker representing Ohio's 7th Congressional District, former U.S. Marine, who said he is a staunch defender of Israel, said it happened while he was on his way to work in Rocky River. And I just played the audio of what the congressman said, and he said, I know who you are. And apparently he did, because, everybody's got a phone with a camera and a video camera and a still camera and all this good stuff. And now the individual, Hamdan, according to the criminal complaint, Hamdan pulled alongside Miller's vehicle and showed Miller a photo of a Palestinian flag. They like to print them out on paper now, And there's a photo of a Palestinian flag on his phone while yelling, death to Israel. He's yelling death to Israel driving in the car. That's a Democrat Party catchphrase at this point, isn't it? And other profane remarks against the Jewish people. Miller later gave a statement, the incident, to Rocky River Police. Reached out to Rocky River Police for a report on file now. And now we've got the guy's name, and we've got all of this going. So the news media can stop putting everything in quotation marks. They could go talk to Mr. Hamdan. Maybe he wants to be an anchor man. The Democrats might hire him to do that. From handcrafted delicious steaks to family grilling favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience for all of your 4th of July grilling plans. And right now, during their 4th of July sale, you're going to save 50% off the entire Omaha Steaks website at omahasteaks.com. Plus, because we hang out together, you get another $45 off with the promo code PLANT at checkout right there online. Growing up in Chicago, I used to see my neighbors getting their Omaha Steaks delivered, and I would lick my chops and rub my hands together, say I didn't get them delivered to my house, but now I do get them delivered to my house. And there's nothing quite like the all-American feeling of a 4th of July cookout, of course. And Omaha Steaks, the fan favorite filet mignon, has earned the coveted distinction of USDA certified tender. And their all-new smash burgers are just built for the grill, just perfect. They also carry mouth-watering chicken, pork, seafood, and beautiful desserts. So get fired up for the 4th of July with Omaha Steaks. Everybody's going to be happy about this. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off the entire website during their 4th of July sale. And get another $45 off when you use the promo code PLANT at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com, another $45 off at checkout with my last name as the secret code. See the Omaha Steaks website for details. Yeah, man. 4th of July coming up. It's already the 20th. That means it's been 5 months since Inauguration Day. Today, 5 months since Inauguration Day. Crazy Democrats and their illegal alien pals terrorizing members of Congress, former Marine, Jewish congressman, terrorizing the U.S. Attorney in New York with knives. I'm beginning to think the Democrat Party's kind of violent. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Andy calling from the Garden State of New Jersey. Andy, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Mr. Plant. Always an honor to speak with you. I'm the one who started that project 1848 for Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, but it hasn't taken off yet. But we'll get there. I just wanted to make a comment that Kathy Hochul's not going to do anything for that U.S. attorney. And she's the one that riled up her supporters during the governor's race with Lee Zeldin to go after him. And there was that guy who went up to him on stage and tried to slit his throat. So I don't think she's going to do anything for the U.S. attorney. Just once again, more Democrat political violence. It's unbelievable.
They have made it very normal, and it's true they don't prosecute crimes. They might want to see if these guys can run for office as Democrats, and the Democrats will do everything they can to get them elected. They're not good neighbors. They're not good legislators. They're not very good people, are they?